The history of marijuana, as told on the National Cancer Institute's website, states that cannabis was used as medicine for at least 3,000 years, and it was introduced to Western medicine by W.B. O'Shaughnessy, and this happened in the year 1840. And from that time on, it had many uses, including as an analgesic or a pain reliever. It was used as a sedative, an anti-inflammatory agent. It helped with muscle spasms, and it was also an anticonvulsant, or in other words, it helped with seizures. And in the year 1937, Congress passed the Marijuana Tax Act, which added taxes on both medical and recreational uses of marijuana, and overall made it much more difficult to obtain. And the principal opponents of this act were the American Medical Association and U.S. physicians. And their reasons for opposing the act is that no objective evidence showing harm existed, and they feared that it would impede further medical research. And it wasn't until 1969, with the United States Supreme Court case, that this act was overturned. Though in 1970, the Controlled Substances Act was created. And this act placed marijuana as a Schedule I drug. And Schedule I drugs have no medicinal value and have a high potential for abuse. Some examples of Schedule I drugs are LSD, heroin, marijuana, and so on. And some examples of Schedule II drugs are cocaine, opium, and methamphetamine. And originally, marijuana was only temporarily placed in Schedule I on the advice of Roger O. Egeberg, who was the Assistant Secretary of Health, and this was pending the results of the Schaefer Commission. The Schaefer Commission, otherwise known as the National Commission on Marijuana and Drug Abuse, was created by the Controlled Substances Act to investigate marijuana, and the last name of the chairman of the commission was Schaefer, which is why people commonly refer to this commission as the Schaefer Commission. And here is a quote from Roger Egeberg. "Since there is still a considerable void in our knowledge of the plant and its effects, our recommendation is that marijuana be retained within Schedule I, at least until the completion of certain studies now underway." And like I said, these studies referred to the Schaefer Commission. And in the year 1972, the Schaefer Commission published its results, which actually favored ending marijuana prohibition. Though in the end, the Nixon administration decided to completely ignore these results. So in essence, marijuana was only placed in Schedule I, awaiting the results of this study. And when this study said that marijuana shouldn't be a Schedule I drug, the results were completely ignored. And to this day, marijuana is still a Schedule I drug.